Coming up this week on the Wet Net Outdoors podcast.
Hasn't happened in decades.
Right.
That was a big deal. That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we can do all this stuff and make these models work for the departments and work with them, we can get it back. We can get this back.
Yeah.
We can get it back to any Chinook. People go out there, tear shit up, put pics on Facebook, and we're all heroes.
Yeah.
We can get that back.
Yeah.
We can get it back. Right now, we just have to go through some kind of crap to get there. By the way, if everybody out there thinks that a fishing guide is rich,
you're wrong.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Name me one fishing guide that you know that is just living in the lap of luxury.
I don't.
There's not a single one.
Yep.
And we're all out here because we love what we do.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll continue to do it whatever it costs.
Yeah.
I don't make a bunch of money.
Right.
But I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have to go to work anymore.
Before we get this episode rolling, I'd like to shout out our awesome sponsors. First on the list, we have Fish Sauce with the Rod Positioning Gadget, also known as the RPG. It's a slick little tool that'll help you get your rod holders good and tight. Find them online at www.fishsauce.com. Next up, we have Anglers Unlimited. For those of you that like to support local businesses, these guys are doing it right. They have all the tackle you could possibly need under one roof. They also have a huge selection of fresh and cured baits. Robert and his guys are sure to get you lined out with what you need for success. Open 7 days a week from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. Stop in and say hi, and be sure to tell them Clayton with Wet Net sent you. After that, we have Northwild Outdoors. Northwild is the top of the line when it comes to spinner blade patterns and paint quality. They also do custom paint jobs. Go check them out at Anglers Unlimited or Bob's Sporting Goods, and find them online at www.northwildgear.com. And last but not least, we have Coldwater Strong. Coldwater Strong makes the highest quality salmon and steelhead gear for boat and bank anglers alike. Find their gear online at www.coldwaterstrong.com. What's going on, everybody? My name is Clayton Dietz. Thank you so much for tuning in here for another week of the Wet Net Outdoors podcast. Today, I'm sitting down here with Bill Monroe Jr. I'm really looking forward to this one. He's a super informational dude. I'm sure you've seen him around Outdoor GPS. I see him on Facebook all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And he's willing to open the book for us a little bit and give us kind of a run through on where we're sitting right now. We're down here in Astoria, Oregon for the infamous Buoy 10 season, and this is the first weekend of it. Before we dive into reports and everything like that, I want to take a quick second to shout out my awesome sponsors.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so first I got to give a huge shout out to my new sponsor, Talon Rods. Really excited about that one. And
that's
cool. We fished their rods yesterday and today out in the ocean. I was fishing their 10-6 15 to 40s, and I was fishing their 9-foot 15 to 40s, and man, oh man.
Yep.
I love them.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Nice.
I got to give a huge shout out to Anglers Unlimited. Those guys are super awesome store. They're doing a bunch of really cool things, doing their own bait scents. They have everything you need flashers wise.
The one in Woodland, right?
That's right. The one in Woodland.
Deal. Yep.
Yep. And Fish Sauce, your little RPG wrenches. I don't know if you've seen those yet.
Dude.
They're pretty slick.
Fish SOS, baby.
That's right. Right.
That helps me keep those tight.
Yeah. And next on the list we have Northwild Outdoors, and let me tell you, those Northwild blades were on fire the last couple days.
Seen those.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Pinks were working really well for us. So, and last but not least, Coldwater Strong. Their bumpers, everything they do, super high quality, super awesome stuff.
Ken's the best. Dude.
And he's a great dude. Love to chat with him.
I do too.
And anyways,
sweet.
Let's get into it. So one thing I always like to do is dive into a background on who I'm talking to.
Okay.
Let's get a little Bill Monroe background.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, this is home away from home, right?
Yeah.
Look at this. Astoria.
Yeah.
We're under the bridge. We're sitting here in the Memorial Park.
Yep.
Near the port of West Basin.
Mm-hmm.
That's my home away from home.
Yep.
I flipping love it here.
Yeah, it's great.
This is what I'm all about. This is why I'm here. I love springers.
Yeah.
I love sturgeon. But Astoria.
Yeah.
In July, August, and September.
Yeah.
this goes back to my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, my dad. We all know my dad. The classic old man. He's the outdoor writer for the Oregonian.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you know, I spent a lot of childhood with him, and kind of skipping school or taking my school with me to be able to go on every outing that the paper would wanted him to cover.
Yeah.
And we're talking fishing, hunting, the outdoors.
Right.
And just how lucky we are in the state of Oregon and Washington to have what we have is special.
Yeah.
And that's where I come in. You know, I spent so much time in my youth doing that with him that I wanted to kind of do something with it in my life.
Right.
But I quickly figured out that I cannot put people into the outdoors through words.
Right.
He is special with it. Right. I don't have it. I'll take you. And once I started figuring out that I could take you and show people the experiences of how to catch your own fish or the fish that we have here.
Yeah.
It was on. It was over.
Yeah.
And this is my 18th year.
Oh man.
Of professional guiding. I been fishing since I was 5.
Yeah.
You know, I try to take my kids fishing.
Yeah.
And I always want my kids to see how cool it is, and they know it. They got it. They get the gist of it.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal to me.
Right. Right.
So I got a little sidetracked after college, and you know, when I was younger, you know, ladies, whatever. I don't even know.
Right.
I got sidetracked with adrenaline and wanting to do a little bit more good, and I became a firefighter, EMT.
Oh, okay.
And that carried me into a full-time job in Clackamas County 911 with AMR on a transport rig.
Okay. Yeah. How long were you with them?
So I was with them for 16 years.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, so you're freshly full-time guiding.
Let's see, full-time, I guess for about 4 years now.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
And before that, it was I mean, almost full-time.
Yeah.
But I was a lot busier back when I had both.
Right.
It was not good for family life or kids,
Oh,
but
man,
I
I can
definitely
imagine.
figured it out that I can't have both.
Yeah.
It's nice to have both,
Right.
but I couldn't make it work.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Plus, in EMS and you running 911 calls, you go through burnout.
Yeah.
And I got burnt.
Yeah.
It didn't ruin me as a human,
Right.
but I definitely got burnt out. It was to that point where I started getting tired, or when I got to the point where humans didn't surprise me anymore, what they are capable of.
Yeah.
I knew right then and there. I was like, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at that. Oh,
Yeah.
well, look at that guy's leg on the ground.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
So I knew it was time.
Yeah.
And through all of that career in EMS, I had this the whole time.
Yeah.
I had fishing, and that kept me sane.
Right.
It kept me grounded. I was able to come out and do my thing, have my family, go run 911 calls.
Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
That was me. And I felt good about what I was doing.
Right.
But I was running myself to the ground. And sometimes I got to the point where I was just like, I can't do both.
Yeah.
And this, naturally, for me, this is where I excel.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I know. I felt
That
good.
is awesome.
felt
So 18 years you've been guiding.
Yep.
You've been through a lot of Buoy 10 seasons.
I have.
So
Yep.
one thing
Yep.
that I think would be kind of cool we touched through is maybe if you can pull from the memory bank,
Boy.
I think it would be cool to hear some stories on how Buoy 10 has changed and evolved throughout the span of 18 years.
Well, let's go back to when I was young.
Yeah.
You know, as a 10 or a 15-year-old,
Mhm.
maybe even 18 while I was in college. You would come here and you would literally be able to walk across some of the boats
Yeah.
that are fishing at the buoy on a big hog incoming.
Yeah.
Or you'd go to Hammond and you were able to manage yourself to be able to kind of meander your way.
Yeah.
Hammond, I consider the set it and forget it fishery.
Oh, I love that.
Because you can put a line counter at Hammond on a certain number and then just go.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing at the buoy.
Yeah.
We get into technical things, and that's where it's changed. We start getting technical about the flood, running up the sands, fishing above the bridge, knowing when to fish above the bridge, knowing when to be above tongue point on super small tides, knowing what to use when the water hits a certain temperature.
Yeah.
That never had a place in the fishery back then.
Gotcha.
None of it.
Yeah.
None of it. It was go out there, go fishing, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Now it's like go out there, kick ass, take names, do your research, know what to use, where to use it, when to use it.
Yeah.
And you are on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're pulling your hair out when you're not.
And then there's a whole nother matrix right there. When it doesn't work, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Whereas back then you were just like, meh.
Yeah.
It didn't work today.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have Pro Trolls.
Yeah.
We didn't have live screen Garmin's with live scope. It's just changed.
Yeah.
And whether it's gear, electronics, boats.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, how many boats did you know that were like mine, a 30-foot sled?
Right.
It didn't exist unless it was a charter boat.
Right.
And they even didn't have metal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a 35 or a 44-foot, whatever.
Right.
Fiberglass. But now we've got just...
We got 30-foot sleds with 300 horsepower motors. Yeah.
I mean, we are just so much more advanced now than we used to be.
Right.
And with that advancement, we've become a lot better fisher people.
Yeah.
We are highly effective. We know what we're doing. Everybody else, you know, the whole thing. And that gets us into fisheries.
Yeah.
I understand that we have fisheries that are sensitive to things.
Right.
Predation being a huge factor. To me, predation is the number one thing I think that we have to worry about.
Yeah.
And then production is another thing. But back then, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
We didn't have all the sea lions. We didn't have cormorants.
Yeah.
There's probably 10 or 20,000 cormorants just on this bridge above us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they will, if not maintained, they will bring this bridge down if we're not careful.
Yeah.
They are such effective feeders on smolt population for salmon that we don't have a good grasp on it.
Yeah.
To the point where they tried to eradicate them on a certain, island down near Oahu.
Right.
And that was for the cormorants and the terns and the seagulls. We had a real issue going.
Yeah.
And now we've basically, when they tried to manage that, it transitioned to the bridge.
Yeah.
And now we've got a bigger problem, in my opinion, because this bridge actually holds traffic.
Yeah.
And their feces and their ability to predate, all of this combining into what I feel like is going to be the perfect storm sometime.
Yeah.
But they're not there yet. We're just now barely getting to the point in the political realm where we can call the population of sea lions.
Right.
So that is a win.
Yeah.
Right? Just in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
We've managed to make federal segue on making something budge on that.
Right.
And it's not much.
Yeah.
I mean, when you kill 200 or 92 sea lions a year, it's a drop in the bucket, but it's something.
Right.
And if we are able to see improvements like we did in the Willamette, we now have a winter steelhead season that actually was great.
Yeah. And this year's summer run was awesome also.
It was actually decent.
Yeah.
We have a real issue with springers, but that's a whole other story.
Right.
It's stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So back then, it was just a different time, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we had bigger fish back then.
Yeah.
And we look at the Kenai, same story. Genetics. We got genetics, but here at least we have production.
Yeah.
We've got tribal production. We've got federal production. We've got state production.
Right.
And all of that is going to be even a bigger part of the future.
Right.
We actually need to ramp up our production probably tenfold.
Yeah.
But I think we'll be there. As a society, we're so far past trying to re-wild fish runs. I mean, we're not there.
Yeah.
Society needs a certain amount of fish, recreation, whatever it is. We need hatcheries.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And with this Buoy 10 area specifically, I know when I was in high school, I kind of started coming on down here, and it was still triangles and herring.
Or divers and bait.
Yep.
Just a regular diver by itself.
Yeah.
That's all I remember.
Yep.
A diver and a herring.
Yeah.
And then I went to diver and anchovy. Then I went to triangles.
Yep. And now we're at 360s and whatever you want to put behind it.
Trolls and artificial lures, spinning lures, whatever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What was kind of the driving factor of everybody making that switch? Is it just the effectiveness of the 360s themselves?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
You cannot deny it.
Right.
You look at it. You've got WDFW and ODFW, you got their attention.
Yeah.
When they start to see absolutely how effective this stuff is, and they start to put into the matrix of when we're sitting in North of Falcon meetings, and they're like, well, we've seen how effective 360s are. Boy, we should maybe look at some models that restrict certain gear.
Right.
Never used to be like that.
Yeah.
Now it is.
Yeah.
We'll never... They say they won't do that.
Yeah.
And they won't do it. But it's come up.
Right.
And just the fact that it's come up,
that goes
to show you how just crazy effective it is.
Yeah.
It's good. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I know right when the 360s kind of came around, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine talking about fishing 360s down here, and he's like, you can't do it because the tides are so big and the tides are so strong, and
buddy,
there's a way to do it.
Bro. There's a way. Trust me.
Yeah.
There is a way, and we are figuring it out.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to Clay, we went to Tillamook Bay.
Yeah.
God, I started doing it 7 or 8 years ago with Pro Trolls there.
Mm-hmm.
And these big old long 30-inch droppers.
Yeah.
To be able to accommodate for the swing of the Pro Troll. Tillamook Bay, we are catching fish like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Never used to be that good.
Yeah.
And now it's great.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
awesome.
You used to be able to go to Tillamook Bay and use a Toman thumper spinner.
Yeah.
A size 13 blade.
Yeah.
And just tow it behind you and just drag the bottom. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Now you got this Pro Troll, a small little, like, artificial lure, a small spinner.
Yeah.
A small anchovy bait. Totally effective.
Yeah. Let's get into a little bit of reports as to what we've been seeing so far.
Thanks.
So we're here August 4th. August
today.
4th.
Yep.
How long have you been down here?
Let's see. The fishery opened June 24th.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't like fishing that June period.
Yeah.
They're pretty small.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Right.
The ocean, the coho and the Chinook are out there feeding. They're gaining a pound a week.
Oh,
That's the average, or a pound every 4 days on some high acuity bait situations.
Yeah.
But I don't like to fish that June period.
Right.
So I showed up July 10th.
Okay.
Started fishing every other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been out there. And so far, we caught fish right away.
Yeah.
Dude, the ocean is out fishing the forecast.
Yeah.
And that's problematic.
Yeah.
For us, but it's a good sign that we have some fish. It's fishing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the opener for Buoy 10 for the people on these big floods, they had some good action, more than I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking that the Chinook action outside is really slow.
Yeah.
So the inside's going to be slow, even for coho on the inside.
Right.
Usually they don't go together. But it was mild.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed.
Yeah. I've been hearing good reports of coho being caught in the river, and I don't remember the last time I heard of coho coming in this early in these numbers. Like that is,
I don't either.
That's off.
And last year, we didn't have a coho showing until the fourth week of August.
Right.
Inside.
Yeah.
Inside. And now we got it the first opening day.
Yeah.
And in the ocean, as far as the ocean is concerned, last year we were going out to 400, 600 foot of water because they were out there.
Yeah.
They were at the tip of the canyon.
Yeah.
And that's way out there. That's a lot of fuel.
Right.
Now, they're right around the corner.
Yeah.
They're right outside.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's unique.
Yeah. That makes it easy for a guy like me who's got a smaller boat. I can still go out there and
100%.
we did pretty darn well these last couple of days.
Yep.
So
that's pretty good.
yeah.
Nice.
So where do you think the Chinook are? Because it seems like they're not out in the ocean. Oh, do you?
I know where they are.
Yeah.
If you look, well, of course, we talk. I got some friends. They own some boats up in Westport. And the way north, just north of Westport, they're crushing Chinook. And those are our fish.
Yeah.
But they're staging, or they're out in what we like to call the Salmon Highway.
Okay.
I don't know, do you follow John Kaiser?
John Kaiser.
Not Junior.
Okay.
John Kaiser, the older John Kaiser, he's with Lawrence. And he does a lot of. Okay. He is a tried and true downrigger fisherman.
Oh, okay.
And he crushes it. He just knows. And he goes right out every day from Milwaukee out to the Salmon Highway. And it's somewhere anywhere from 200 to 500 foot of water.
Right.
And you put your downrigger to what your screen shows in this certain zone.
Yeah. And you're
it's like
getting
that.
them.
And they're all big Chinook.
Yeah.
Every last one.
Yeah.
And he'll just play catch and release, or he'll find the fish he wants.
Yeah.
And right now, Westport, the charter fleet, they're playing that game.
Yeah.
And they're crushing it.
Yeah.
Good on them. They are absolutely having a great season up there.
Right.
And we're having a great coho season down here.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
good.
What do you think is keeping those Chinook up there? Do you think it's just water temps? Do you think it's lack of rain? If you were to make an educated guess. It was like a week ago last year, guys were hammering them out at Long Beach.
That's right. And we had to the point where they shut a certain zone down.
Yeah.
Because we were hammering them so hard.
Yeah. And that's just not the case so far this year.
That's not the case this year. No. I actually think it might have to do with the weather.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a really hot June, hot July.
Yeah.
Hot July.
Yeah.
And maybe they're like, no way.
Yeah.
Maybe. We don't want to be around that.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just out there doing their thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But the thing is about what's special about Chinook, and springers are notorious for it, and so are fall, is one day they're not here. They're not even close.
Yeah.
And the next literal day the sun comes up, they're all here.
Yeah.
So they will find a way to show up like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen it tied, and springers are notorious for it.
Right.
But upriver brights are really, really, really good with it too.
Yeah.
They're predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man, I'm trying to think of what else we could cover for. We got 7 minutes before we cut to a quick break, so I don't want to dive into something too in depth and have to cut in the middle of it.
Nice.
Let's see here. So when you're out there in the ocean, obviously you're doing the 360s and artificial lures.
Yep.
You're not dropping them way down deep. You're fishing them suspended quite a bit.
Yep.
What's kind of the purpose behind that? That's just where the fish are.
Well, when you look at your screen,
Yeah.
and you've got, like, I don't know how you have your electronics set up.
Yeah.
My Lowrance, I have it set up on kind of a higher definition combination mode. I do like sonar and side scanning combined.
Right.
Whatever. There's a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I look for the tidal line.
Oh,
There's tidal influences all throughout
Right.
the ocean. And when you have a hard outgo, you can see that current ripping on the surface, but at just down like 20 feet of water, just maybe even 10 foot of water.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to adjust. And I do that. Sometimes I set my counters to 20.
Yeah.
Sometimes I set them to 8.
Yeah.
And it always works based off of what I'm seeing.
Right.
And then you've got these deeper sections, and sometimes that's where we see the early Chinook. They like that deeper subtidal line where the bait's all hanging out up top.
Yeah.
And you can access them.
Yeah.
If you know how to set your line counter. That's an actual thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to watch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess we can start to dive into it a little bit. So what are some things that go into setting the seasons that we have here at Buoy 10? Because we have some restricting factors like our Lure River Tulies, so on and so forth. That's a restricting factor, isn't it?
Yep. Year after year, we've had a Tulie issue.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm not quiet about it. I've been rather vocal. When we started this Tulie program a ways back, when I was a kid, the Tulie program started. We have an agreement with Canada. Yeah. The USV Canada agreement literally saves us our spring Chinook stock.
Okay.
And springers, to you and me, springers are coveted.
Yeah.
They're really important to us, not just for table fare, but for overall economies.
Right.
And so when we approached Canada with this agreement, and they're all about it, we said, hey, we'll start producing this Tulie Chinook, which in their waters, when it's growing and rearing and living life, it's a high-quality fish. But when it gets anywhere near its origin, which is our Columbia River sector, it deteriorates very quickly.
Right.
And we don't like that.
Yeah.
We're not into that. I call them turds.
Yeah. They look like it and they smell like it.
When I hook a Tulie, it's a turd burglar. No question. That's a turd burglar. We're going to let it go. Mm-hmm. But that's the agreement we have. And that's a limiting factor. The LRWs, which is the lower river wilds, we call a wild Tulie. We had an issue with them.
Okay.
We had an issue with them being targeted a little too much. We had an education problem many years ago where people were not quite sure what a Tulie was, how to identify, all the things. And now LRH, which is Lower River Hatchery, is our overall encompassing big thing that we use to monitor Tulies.
Yeah. And
when we get a low forecast on LRH, or LRW even, we have to be able to control the fishery. Right. It's a very, very, very complicated process. A lot of people are pissed about it, and I am one.
Yeah.
I came out, and I'm not quiet about it. I said the Tulie's Chinook is ruining not only fisheries, but it's ruining town after town after town after town where these fisheries are going through.
Right.
We're losing angler effort. The local economies are losing out on hotel rooms, bait, gap, whatever.
Yeah.
We are losing out because of this, well, I'll call it inferior product.
Right.
It's a real complicated mess. Now, I become pretty educated, and I like to get involved, and I am very involved, and I like to help. This is the whole overall goal that I have, is to make sure that we have the opportunity to go fishing.
Right.
And now that I got a big kind of idea about all that goes, because it's really complicated.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for all the management.
Yeah.
And I'm not quiet about that either.
Right.
I don't want their job.
Yeah.
I do not want their job because everybody over there is on them like white on rice.
Oh, man.
They are the bane of everybody's existence. They think they're out to get them.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. All of it.
Right.
And that's not the case.
Right.
We have a manager on the Columbia River, Tucker Jones. He loves to catch fish.
Yeah.
He is one of the best fisheries managers I've ever seen.
Right.
He wants to be involved. He wants to get to know you. He wants to know what's going on. And now we have a director of the Department for Oregon that is actually like giving a crap.
Yeah.
And she's great. Yeah. I am excited for what we have.
Yeah.
We have a little road bumps to get through.
Right.
Tulies are a road bump. A fee increase, that's going to happen. It hasn't happened in 15 years. They need some more money for production. We need production, and they're not quiet about it.
Yeah.
We are going to have a fee increase. We want more hatchery fish.
Yeah.
We're going to fight for it. Go ahead and try and sue us, people, because we're ready to battle.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Well, we're going to get more into this.
One.
We're going to get into this a little bit deeper here on this next segment.
Copy.
And we will be right back after this short break.
Nice. don't mind me. I'm just checking in on my kids.
Yeah, not a problem at all. We're back from our little break here.
Nice.
Went and got some water and
Yeah.
put our heads together, and I think we're going to jump right back in where we left off.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah. So I was telling you this off camera. I'm going to say it again just so everybody knows. When it comes to politics and fisheries, when it comes to setting seasons and so on and so forth, I myself am brutally uninformed.
Yep.
And one question that I've kind of had is when it comes to the restraining factors that we have in our Buoy 10 fishery specifically, we have it set right now as a 1 hatchery Chinook limit.
Right.
In terms of mortalities and releasing wild fish,
Right.
where is the decision made that catching and releasing all these wild fish is better than allowing everybody just a 1 fish limit?
Okay. Well, let me dive into that. First of all, you're in the majority,
Right.
which is the uninformed user, which is totally fine.
Right.
We don't expect you to be informed because there was so much going into this
Yeah.
that it's ultra complicated.
Right.
So don't feel bad about that. And that's where I've kind of come in and I've said, you know what? I want to inform everybody. You see what I do. I post updates. I explain to people fisheries and how we're doing this, number matrix, how we have to work with NOAA or PFMC or North of Falcon. All these things are a part of the process. And they're complicated, and not very many people know about them until now.
Right.
Now we're starting to get it out there, and people are starting to learn, which is good.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that. But let's go into why we have hatchery. What we call is a marked select fishery.
Right.
When we say marked select, we are talking about fish that have a healed adipose fin on their back that have been cut from released as smolt fish.
Okay.
That's a marked select fish, hatchery fish.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So when we have a non-marked select fish, that's anything.
Yeah.
Like last year in the ocean, we could get any coho.
Okay.
That was a non-marked select fishery. The feds made that decision because they control the ocean. Non-marked select.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Usually, we have non-marked select Chinook fishing inside Buoy 10. Usually. We have encountered a Tulie issue through the years, and that is why we've come up with marked select fisheries. You look at your spring Chinook fisheries. That's a marked select fishery, right? That makes sense. Healed scar, we're looking for hatchery springers. So the whole goal is to get hatchery spring Chinook up to a certain point to be able to rear them and get, egg requirements that they need to get back to the hatchery. We let the wild fish go so they can go and naturally propagate because we're targeting the fish that we've created.
Okay.
And that kind of has a play here. That's a part of the puzzle. So there's one piece. Here, we've got a Tulie issue, just like I was telling you. And it's a wild Tulie issue. And when we start looking at the most restraining stock of these fisheries for the last 10 or 15 years, it's wild Tulies.
Gotcha.
So when you are trying to protect a wild fish, you go to a non-marked select. That's a non-marked select fish that's trying to be protected. It's
Right.
wild, has a fin.
Yep.
So you go to a marked select modeling to try and save that infrastructure.
Yeah.
And that's overall goal is U.S. versus Canada.
Yeah.
We're trying to save that. That's really important to our, not only to our Tulies, but to our springers because that's our benefit.
Yeah.
That they allow those Canadians can go out there and tear up our springers.
Right.
They won't do that.
Yeah.
They refuse to do that as long as we agree to have these Tulies,
Right.
and whether it's wild or hatchery, right? So we've gone to mark select modeling, and that's how North of Falcon has come up with these things to try and control mortalities which is on the constraining stocks. Now, part of that is what we come up with. The result of that is releasing beautiful, big, purpleback upriver brights.
Right.
It pisses me off.
Yeah.
It pisses you off.
Oh, yeah.
And that is really hard to do when you're trying to protect the overall constraining stock. Right. Because we have an agreement. We don't have an agreement with Canada because of our herbs. Let's be clear.
Right.
We don't have an agreement with Canada because of our lingcod.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
We have an agreement with Canada because of Tulies.
Right.
We have to be able to, even though that's the agreement that we have to protect, they're swimming with upriver brights. Yeah. They're in this fishery. And that's actually what's pissed me off when I say Tulies are ruining towns. They're ruining fisheries. Screw the Tulies, because I'm mad.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, we really need more Tulies.
Yeah.
In order to be able to get what we want.
Yeah.
And so the departments have tried to negate the ill effects of hurting wild Tulies or whatever it is through LRH monitoring. And that's what we have. That's what we have now. Yeah. We have an exploitation rate that we have to follow based off of forecast. And if we hit that exploitation rate, that fishery would absolutely be we wouldn't even be fishing. Yeah. We wouldn't.
Right.
So if we have an ER, or let's say we're trying to target an ER, exploitation rate of 38%, we have to be able to find a way to make this season last from August 1st to Labor Day like we usually love, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And to do that, to not go over our 38% to protect wild Tulie and keep our agreements and everybody maintain status quo, we have to have a mark select fishery.
Gotcha.
It's the same thing with coho. Coho went to a mark select fishery because they were in detriment. Okay. They were ESA. They were in trouble. Huge trouble. Like we were talking, no coho existed at all.
Oh man.
Yeah. And now we have a hatchery only matrix for them. Yeah. And look at them now. Yeah. They're healthy.
Yeah.
They're legit.
Yeah.
They're so good that last year they were good enough to open up any coho fishery on the Columbia River. That hasn't happened in decades.
Right.
That was a big deal. That's a win. That's a win.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we can do all this stuff and make these models work for the departments and work with them, we can get it back. We can get this back. Yeah. We can get it back to any Chinook. People go out there, tear shit up, put pics on Facebook, and we're all heroes. Yeah. We can get that back. Yeah. We can get it back. Right now, we just have to go through some kind of crap to get there, I feel like. Yeah. That's my opinion. Yeah. I'm wildly unpopular in some things because people, I've noticed, and my dad taught me this. He taught me a lot of things about fisheries and politics. He never got into it because he was a paper writer and had to remain neutral. Yeah. But he taught me being neutral and being level-headed, but not trying to speak because of your emotions. Right. It doesn't work. I'm pissed off. I freaking hate Tulies. Yeah. I'm mad. Yeah. But I'm level-headed, and I'm not going to speak emotionally until ODFW to F right off. Yeah. That is the worst possible thing. Yeah. Why would we do that? Yeah. That solves nothing. No. So if we all come together...
It takes credibility away from fishermen.
Right?
When we all seem like pissed off, angry guys, it takes credibility away from
100%.
Us,
You get it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, so you and I might be kind of the exception, but everybody who's out there, and this is probably something we can dive into. I'm really passionate as a fishing guide. My responsibility as a user to the resource, I not only give back as far as I can as like donating trips to the groups or whatever to help raise money for political stuff, whatever. Yeah. But I like to be a part of the solution and not the problem. Yep. No offense, and this does not go out to any other fishing guide. I'm not targeting anybody, but there are fishing guides who come out here and they're just here to use the resource. Right. They don't give a shit about anything else. Yeah. We are here to use the resource and make our money and go home. Yeah. Well, I don't care about that. I do love to use the resource. I'm making income off of it. I'm not running 2 trips a flippin' day.
Yeah.
I don't care about that type of thing. My goal is the greater good.
Right.
And that's the making these things work. And this is the type of mentality you take into North of Falcon. You take it into stakeholders groups when we talk about spring Chinook season settings. You take it into all of it.
Yeah.
And we sit on all these meetings and we try and make this work. And we talk about banning gill netters or whatever.
Yeah.
That's emotions.
Yep.
What about the bigger part where we can all like come together and like make things work, you know?
Yeah.
I said it the other day on a meeting. They were setting seasons for the safe zones. Mm-hmm. Safe zones are having record years. Mm-hmm. They're killing it. They are doing so well in safe zones because they've transplanted fish to make it work, right?
Right.
Well, that means they're working. And I dream of the day where we can work with tribes, gill netters, commercial fishermen, and sports fishermen alike.
Yeah.
It has not happened yet.
Right.
It has not.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to sit down at that table.
Yeah.
I'm on the board of directors of NSIA. I love being a part of the solution.
Right.
CCA, they have their own thing. I would love to work with them.
Yeah.
Salmon for All here in Astoria. It's a gill net association.
Right.
Let's sit down.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Right.
But we're not there.
How much stronger would we be as fishermen, whether it's sports fishermen or gill netters or the tribes or anything?
If we all did this son bitch together, we would be unstoppable.
Right.
I mean, if we put all our resources into the actual fish that are swimming in the water rather than bitching about who gets what and when they get it, dude, can you imagine?
Oh, man.
What? I mean, what if Alaska got rid of trawling altogether and didn't have bycatch?
Yeah.
The Kenai might actually have some fish.
Right.
But they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because politics have gotten involved, money's gotten involved, user group.
Yeah.
Money, fish. And when here, by the way, here, sport fishermen, you go ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Let that go.
Yeah.
We just need to find a way. I don't know if I'll ever get to see that.
Right.
I'm 46. And that's my dream.
Right. Yeah. You know, one question that I have for you is because you do quite a bit of fishing down in Tillamook Bay.
I do.
Where they have broodstock programs on a handful of the rivers
that
down there.
That are highly functional and they work.
Do we have any broodstock programs on the Columbia River?
Well, not on the Columbia.
Yeah. So
in the Clackamas.
Okay.
I mean, the Sandy.
Yeah.
You've got some, but those are kind of Willamette based.
Yeah. So why is it that we couldn't go and do some kind of broodstock program on something like the Klickitat or the white salmon or the Lewis or the Cowlitz or whatever? All of it. Like why is it?
Why not?
Yeah. Like
you tell me, because quite frankly, I would love to know that answer too.
Yeah.
The departments aren't quite able to manage everything under the sun.
Right.
That's one of them.
Right.
But it holds merit enough to the point where they have talked about it.
Yeah.
Can they afford to implement?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not yet. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
The Cowlitz is starting to see springers again, but it's not because of a broodstock program. But stuff like that, if they had a broodstock program.
Yeah. Well,
that would be something.
The springers on the Cowlitz this year was kind of weird anyways because they had that second fin clip that they had.
Correct. They had a vent fin. You needed to match two.
Yeah. And what was the purpose behind that? I had heard there was...
that was another hatchery implementation of what was the strongest overall segment of that run. Okay. And that was going to be the overall target because they were the most plentiful.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That makes sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So one kind of silly question that I have, and I don't know if you've ever heard this or not. I've heard it 100 times from 100 different people. When you show up to a dock after a day of fishing, fish checker comes down to you.
Creel check.
I've heard that if you tell them you released 3 fish, I've heard that they count every released fish as multiple mortalities.
Well, they'll count it as a certain percentage of a mortality.
Okay.
It does have a part of the overall mortality matrix.
Okay.
Back when I was younger and emotional, I used to get pissed, and I called it fuzzy math because the Creel program wasn't quite up to par.
Right.
Under Kurt, our last director, even before that, our last director and his Creel program, Kevleen came in and made some pretty strong changes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those Creels ended up being around the 75% accurate mark.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You can't, I mean, that's so hard.
Right.
The Creel is such a hard thing to monitor. And if we could all, that's another thing, if we could all get together and kind of help the fish checkers,
Yeah.
it'd be a lot easier. Instead, here in this marina, some of the fish checkers get hard times.
Yeah.
They get harassed. They get yelled at. Why are you checking my boat every day? I don't care.
Yeah.
Come here.
Yeah.
I want that fish wanted. I want to see where that pit tag was, and I want that information used to be able to come back in the next 4 or 5 year cycle of fish
Yeah.
to help produce more fish.
Right.
So it really kind of has a benefit.
Yeah.
But the Creel checkers have this matrix. Their numbers have a matrix. Their research have a matrix. It all goes into a piece of what they do for puzzles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess part of my point with what I was saying prior was I've heard people say that you shouldn't tell fish checkers how many you released. Is that something that should even be a thought in the back of your mind? Or
Man, that's tough.
It is tough.
I wouldn't be, why would I do that?
And you know what? Like, I'm saying this publicly. I've done it before.
Sure.
I have. Like,
Sure.
That's just me being straight up and honest.
I get it.
And
I didn't release anything today
Yeah.
because you don't want your fishery shut down.
Right. But now, like, if I'm wrong in doing that, aside from just being a liar, which I try not to be.
I didn't call you that.
No,
that's not what it is you're trying to protect the overall fishery.
Right.
And that's part of us wanting to be able to stay out there and have fun and
Yeah. And you know,
post pictures.
yeah.
I get it.
The older I get and the more mature I get, it's a little bit less about protecting the fisheries and more about protecting the fish because I want my kids, you know, I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to continue fishing.
Yeah.
So if we have to shut a fishery down a little bit early because the numbers are that damn bad, I feel like that's something that we should have to do. You know what I mean?
it, right?
Yeah.
There's reasons.
Yep.
Man, that's tough, dude.
Yeah.
I don't quite do that.
Yeah.
But it does happen every day.
Yeah.
And they rely on you for the info.
Yeah.
And what we tell them is what they're going to put down.
Yeah.
Let alone what they count.
Right. Well, and that just comes back to a credibility thing too. If these guys are knowing that they're being lied to, at what point are they going to stop taking what we say literally? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's some tough stuff. Dude.
Yeah.
That takes maturity.
Yeah.
And that takes the fact where we need to kind of know where we're at with trying to make fisheries work.
Right.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's happening every day.
Yeah.
Every marina around here, whatever.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
Right.
Have they adjusted for it? I'm pretty sure they have.
Yeah.
Everybody is also like, well, the department hired a Facebook fish counter guy, and he counts what's on Facebook and puts that into the Creel matrix. Dude, no, they do not.
Yeah.
No. They're not doing that.
Right.
Yes, your fish pictures are great.
Yeah.
They see what you're doing, but they rely on the fact that there's feet on the ground showing them what's going on.
Yeah.
It's the same thing during a keeper sturgeon fishery.
Right.
They're here because we have to maintain. If there's 2,500 sturgeon available for an allocation,
Yeah.
and we get 2,501, that could be one fish less that's going to make it up above Bonneville or just below to spawn.
Right.
That matters.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was younger, I literally said, F all of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I want.
Right.
Now that I'm a lot older,
Yeah.
and able to like see all this, bro.
Yeah.
That makes me pay attention pretty good.
Right.
And that's why I like to do what I do. It's if we can find a way to kind of talk to people and be like,
Yeah.
it's us. Hey, bro, let me tell you why this. Let me show you why you probably shouldn't do this.
Right.
We want to protect that.
Yeah.
This stuff matters. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You bring up a really good point.
Yeah.
And I don't. That's another job I don't want.
Yeah.
Those Creel, the fish checkers.
Yeah.
God, they get talked like shit to.
Oh man.
No, I'm not kidding.
I've seen it
and
firsthand.
this is a calm port.
Yeah.
Hammond has got every Tom, Dick, and Jane lined up to put their boat in and out,
Yeah.
and they have to deal with that.
Oh yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
dude, I
yeah.
feel so
The East
bad
Basin
for 'em.
too. The East Basin is
Same
terrible
thing.
too.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's such a hard job.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
oh man, Clayton, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know we don't have the following to get the message out there, but
Yeah.
let's treat them good.
Yeah. 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 Treat them nice because
100%.
you want to be treated nice when you go to work. So
Yep.
do they. You know what I mean?
They really do, dude.
Yeah.
They're here to do a job, and it has a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
So we've got about 6 minutes here before we
Cool.
got to cut to one more break.
Okay.
I'd say we can start kind of diving into a little bit of this breaking down this buoy 10 fishery.
Sure.
There is what's the dimensions of this fishery from tongue point
Holy
down
crap.
below? I've heard it before. Somebody said it. It's big.
It's huge.
It's a huge area.
You're talking 50 square miles,
Yeah.
60 square miles.
Yeah. It is.
You've got a fishery from Tongue Point
Yeah.
and Rice Island, from the island,
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to South Jetty, North Jetty, and everything in between.
Yeah.
I mean, this bridge right above us
Yeah.
is 3.5 miles long.
Yeah.
That's just from point A to point B.
Right.
You're talking another 20-mile section from Tongue Point to the jetties.
Yep.
It's huge.
It's a huge area, and it's
huge.
broken down into a lot of different areas
Yeah.
that fish really well at different times.
Correct. You're looking at soft tides versus big tides.
Yep.
Versus wind areas that are notorious for like herring and flashers.
Yep.
Just like I told you.
Yeah.
Hammond, running down the church.
Yep.
Going towards El Waco.
Yeah.
Being out at the buoy.
Yep.
Being in the ships and the anchorage.
Yeah.
Going up to Portuguese Point and coming down Blind Channel.
Yeah.
Man, it all has its times. And that's what makes this a challenge.
Right.
And I flippin' love it.
Yeah.
I get my ass kicked one day and I have a amazing day the next.
Yeah.
Because I figure things out, I adjust, I go somewhere else. I know how to make things work, right?
Yeah.
And that's a tough gig.
Yeah.
But I love that this place has that ability to challenge you.
Yeah.
The fish,
Yeah.
they have that ability to challenge you.
Yeah.
You go to Tillamook Bay, different.
Yeah.
You go down to the Rogue, you've got one little bad boy place where every mom and pop has set up shop and they're fishing right here.
Yeah.
They're all right here.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yep.
We are everywhere.
All over the place.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Hammond could go off. Portuguese Point could go off. All in the incoming while the buoy is just starting to pop off.
Yeah.
That is challenging.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I freaking love it.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, it's like you were saying earlier. You know, you kind of got out of your firefighting and EMS stuff when people stop surprising you. Fish will surprise you every single day.
Holy crap.
You never know.
And not only that, but they change every year.
Yeah.
Because different year broods of fish have different mentalities of where they came down the water or what they know on how to be able to get up. You know, it's always different.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Before we dive into the nitty gritty of it in our next segment,
Yep.
what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who says, "Hey, I just bought a boat. I'm going to go down and fish buoy 10." What is one piece of advice that you would give them?
Do not cross the bar on an outgoing ebb at max.
Yep.
Without a life jacket.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's my number one piece of advice.
Yeah.
I will never cross that bar, even on an incoming, without a life jacket on.
Right.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't. You saw what happened July 12th.
Yep.
Boat went down.
Well, my last episode was with Brandon Traeger, and he actually helped pick up some of the debris.
That's correct. Traeger's out there. A couple of charter boats are out there.
Yeah.
They were uneducated.
Yeah.
They thought they had it figured out.
That's a sad deal.
And they didn't look at the tide. They didn't look at the swells.
Yep.
They didn't look at their equipment.
Yep.
Not a one of them was wearing a life jacket.
That's terrible.
That's awful. And it killed a father and a son.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know we said it. I know we said it in the last episode, but I'm going to say it one more time. Thoughts and prayers go out to all of them and all their families and the two survivors that were on that vessel. I can't imagine what they're going through.
They lost everything.
Yeah. Well, speaking of boats capsizing, right now we are sitting in the Maritime Memorial down here in Astoria. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even know that this memorial existed, and I took a walk through it while we were kind of getting set up and ready. And man, this is some powerful stuff. I mean, they have names and birth dates and little bits of information about. I would assume almost every person that's lost their life going across that bar.
Or outside. They're all fishermen.
Yeah. That's powerful stuff. And I feel like we had to take a second to throw it out there.
I do too. I think this actually holds merit.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons Astoria is special.
Yep.
Because they have this type of mentality. They all got each other's back.
Right.
I freaking love it here so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a powerful place.
I was looking at some of these guys. This guy's 25 years old.
Yeah,
and he was probably a deckhand on a boat, and he lost his life out there. Yeah. Something like that. It's everywhere.
Yeah,
and this is a very, very powerful place to do an interview.
Yeah, yes it is.
In case you were wondering.
Yes it is.
Yeah.
Yes it is.
I love it.
I feel honored to do it.
I do too. I feel pretty good sitting here right now.
Yeah. So, alrighty. Well, this last segment we touched on. Some of the fishing politics, and we touched on a little bit of what goes into setting some seasons. And this next segment, I think we're going to dive kind of in depth on fishing buoy 10 because people love information.
Let's do it.
So, alrighty, we're going to cut to one more quick break, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Thanks.
Alrighty. We're back from our little break there.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into some informational stuff.
Let's do tactics.
Let's do tactics. So let's go with the tide sets that we have right now. So huge, big tides.
Yeah.
Not traditionally good for targeting Chinook.
No.
A lot of times they're kind of better for coho.
Yeah. Because the income is big.
Yeah. Are they starting to get softer now after today?
We are on the downhill trend.
Which is good.
Yeah, the minuses are going to stop. We're going to start and see smaller, softer tides.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yep.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah.
Because I cross the bar early in the morning no matter what.
Right.
That's why I built a 30-foot, 29-foot sled.
Yep.
Because their moniker is to shut a bar down, which is very common.
Yep.
They shut it down from 20 to 25 to 28.
Yep.
And then 40.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our stabilities is what they look at. Coast Guard has a lot of leeway on what they get to do. And by the way, Coast Guard,
huge.
I love them.
Huge shout out to Coast Guard.
They are my freaking heroes.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
They are amazing. So, given the tide sets that we have right now, assuming let's say for whatever reason the ocean's closed, the ocean is not an option.
Yep.
The river's the only option.
Yep.
With the tide sets that we have right now, where would you start? What would you do?
Boy, that morning time, I'd sleep in, eat breakfast.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, some people do.
Actually, yeah. A couple of guys, they don't start till 8, right when this kind of crap hits.
Yep.
The big thing about the big tides in the morning, outgoing, the ebb, I like to go to the bridge and make my way down.
Okay.
And I just work it, and I work it, and work it. The thing is that you're hauling ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you really need to know how to control the boat. Yeah.
Yep.
You need to know where to go. If you're in the middle of deep water and you're hauling ass, that's hard to fish.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not going to get easy.
Yep.
And you're not going to get away from that.
Yep.
So the only way to really deal with it is to just adjust.
Yep.
Constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's going down against the sands where the water slows down a little bit,
Yep.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
We don't go into the 60 foot of water in the main channel on the Washington side.
Right.
Because we'd be doing 7 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We don't go down the green line in Hammond on the outgo because we'd be doing 35 miles an hour. Right?
Yeah.
That's the main channel.
Yeah.
But we do push against the sides.
Right.
Or we go up against the edges down towards Social Security Beach and run the red line. That's my favorite little thing.
Yep.
To do. You either wait for the heavy tide down there.
Yeah.
And then wait for it to turn.
Yeah.
And then go out to the buoy. Or you just kind of just sleep in and then go hit the buoy on the slack and wait for the water.
Yep.
Wait for the flood.
Yep.
And that could be anything from bait to spinners.
Yep.
You know, if you got water that's above 60, 65 degrees, which we do,
Yep.
you're using tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You're using gear.
Yep.
You're not using bait that much.
Right.
And
You're
that's the
using
thing.
you're using your North Wild blades.
That's what you guys love. I love it. You know, I'm a tried and true Yakima
yeah.
bait guy. I always have been.
Yeah.
But those Kirkley stuff is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love his designs.
Yeah. I'm
highly
actually
talented.
I'm actually really looking forward to it. I've got an episode coming up with Jared Higginbotham here in the next
You
couple
do?
weeks. Oh, I'm stoked. That's going to be a fun one.
You know what you're in for, right?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet. But
Whoa.
yeah.
Dude,
I
Jared
know.
is one of the funnest humans I've ever met in my life. I love him to death. We're very good friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he is a big ball of energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that if he was sitting on this bench away from me, I'd be looking up at him.
He'd be touching that bridge. He'd be touching that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's going to be a really fun one.
Dude,
I love Yakima bait too.
He is
They're
legit.
awesome. Yeah.
Yep. Buzz. Okay, I grew up around Buzz. We were all family, kind of. That's my life.
Yeah.
I grew around my dad. They were all like buddies, and I came into that circle as a really young boy.
Yeah.
And I stayed in it, and that's who I love.
Yeah.
Jared is part of that because Buzz showed Jared a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff about plugs, and Jared has learned his own thing, and he's taken Yakima bait to new levels.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
He's freaking killing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That is awesome.
My jolly giant, dude.
Yeah.
He's just a great human.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Big shout out to Jared.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to recording that episode with
Awesome.
you. It's going to be fun.
That's legit.
That's going to be fun. So as these tides start to get softer out here, we should hopefully see more Chinook rolling in.
Correct. That's the overall goal. We're hoping they'll come out of the north, come out of that big ocean, because they're in the Salmon Highway, they're in the deep water, and as soon as they start to not feel their asses getting kicked by a current, which is the tides, then they might actually do something. Yeah. And that'll be great, because I'd like to see what happens.
Yeah.
This first 2 weeks of August. If we have a good Chinook showing on the second week, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
Because then I know we got something really great on the third and fourth weeks after we get through the next big set of tides.
Yeah.
And that will be absolute chaos if it does come to fruition.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that I think that we should definitely touch on is it's slightly off topic, not really. Sunday the 11th, we have guys that are going to be swimming across the river. Be mindful of that.
We really need to kind of watch what we're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the hospital here in Astoria is thinking. They're trying to resurrect something that used to happen a long time ago.
Yeah.
Their timing of it is absolutely horrible.
Oh, it's horrible.
I'm not going to call them idiots. I'm not going to call them jerks.
Right.
I'm just going to say that they should at least think about rescheduling, which they haven't.
Yeah.
They've put out notes to Clatsop County Sheriffs to ask for help. They've asked OSP for help. They've asked the Coast Guard for help.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and do what they can, but all of these entities, they're busy.
Yeah.
They've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
There's OSP, WDFW police, whatever. They got things to do. Coast Guard, they have to be on standby for other things.
Yeah.
There's going to be 25 to 4,500 boats in this area that I was talking about.
It's the first set of small tides that we have this year. It is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think.
Yeah.
I hope for the best.
Yeah.
I know I will be mindful to see if that's a seal or a human swimming in front of me.
Yeah.
And if I do, I will slow down because I'm not in too much of a hurry to get somewhere knowing there's humans in the water.
Right.
We'll figure it out.
Which you could be with all the ponies you got on the back.
Yeah, I like to go fast.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
How fast does it go?
I've gotten up to 64.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot of boat. I know.
Yeah.
Kind of got a big motor. I love it, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
I built that thing because, I don't know, I really want to
Yeah.
do everything with it.
Right.
And it's not just a speed thing for me.
Yeah.
It's I want the nicest gear.
Yep.
I want the nicest things to be able to offer people the peace of mind and the coolness and the comfort to have that in their hands to be able to catch fish.
Oh, yeah.
Or the vessel to sit in to be able to target, to be able to go out there and do it for themselves. All that kind of stuff. That's just my mentality.
Yeah.
I don't like to I try to remain humble.
Yeah.
That's a big part of I used to do hero stuff, put a lot of stuff on Facebook. Hey, look at me.
Yeah.
Now we got the younger guys doing that.
Yeah.
I like to keep it just humble.
Yeah.
I'm not here to brag. I want people to have that good stuff, though. They have access to that with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's probably facetious a little bit.
Right.
But it's not meant to be. I'm not here to be a dick.
Right.
I swear to God, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Well, I don't get the vibes that you're a dick at all.
No,
I don't.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And I love that, Mercury has come out with cool things like that.
Yeah.
Or Willie Boats makes one of the best boats in the entire business, hands down, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because they started the aluminum boat mentality. That's what Willie did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a long story too, but nonetheless.
Yeah.
Yep. It's good times.
Throughout this week, kind of coming into this weekend, as these tides are going to start slowing down.
Yeah.
What's kind of your game plan? You just going to feel them out and day to day?
I mean, it's day to day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to leave the ocean if I don't have to.
Yeah.
My safety number in the ocean is what I do. By the way, I have a safety plan on my books.
Yeah.
And I do a combination of things. If I have a combination greater than 10 or 11, depending on the wind wave, I won't go.
Right.
But if I've got a combination that puts me below that matrix and I can do it safely, I'm going to go.
Right.
Because that's kind of the ability that I've got now.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
Yeah.
And if you got a big swell that's spaced apart with no wind waves, you should probably get out there and go fishing because there's fish to be had.
Oh, yeah.
That's part of the quota.
Yeah.
I could probably live on the ocean.
Yeah.
If I could create this big barge and live on the ocean in this barge and live, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Probably a bad idea.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But that's it.
Yeah.
If I can't get out in the ocean, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to figure it out. And I'm going to work with a very select few other fishing guides that I work with. And I have no problem sharing my life with them either.
Yep.
Because we're family.
Yeah.
And that's what's important to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's a huge thing about this fishing industry too is relationships that you get. And,
man,
look
at what you've created. Just what you're doing.
Right.
You're creating something.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Right.
Not everybody can say they did that. And that has a relationship factor to be able to get this stuff out to people.
Yeah.
We never used to do this. You asked what was different way back when, and now this is part of it.
Yeah.
We never used to have this.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool.
Yeah. No, I
love
appreciate
it.
It's fun.
And whether we are on a show with Owen at Outdoor GPS or we're doing a Seattle ESPN radio spot, whatever.
Yeah.
That never used to happen.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you more of how we're getting stuff out there.
Yeah.
We're being effective.
Yep.
And how we just want to share the awesomeness that we have. We have this.
Yeah.
Not everybody in the world has this.
No.
We are so lucky, Clayton. It's unreal how lucky we are.
Yeah.
And we take it for granted.
We do. We really
100%.
do.
100%. And if it's like us as sport fishermen or commercial, you already heard it all. But whatever. we have this. It's worth taking care of.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Are there too many fishing guides? Yeah.
Yeah.
There are.
Yeah.
Are there problems with fisheries and sport fishermen and commercial? Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
We got issues.
Right.
But it's still worth it.
Yeah.
All of that we have right now, it's still worth it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know.
It's a special industry to be working my way into, and
That's cool, dude.
talking to a lot of cool people.
Yeah, I love it very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
It's a
everybody
blast.
has the balls to do this.
Yeah.
Because it literally takes a big step to take this and be like, I'm going to do something.
Right.
I mean, that's what Marlin did. He's created a kind of an empire,
Yeah.
with Addicted. I
Yeah.
think that's really great.
Yeah.
They're all friends of mine.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you never used to see that
Yeah.
way back when.
Yeah.
That's just goes to show you how much changed.
Yeah.
But as we go forward with the fishery, the ocean will probably shut down for coho retention.
Oh, okay. How's that quota looking?
It's really high.
Oh, okay.
It's up there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're sitting probably about 70%.
Oh, okay.
And for it to only be the first week of August, that's epic.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if they shut down the coho fishery in the ocean, the Chinook quota in the ocean is still pretty low. Last I checked, which was 4 days ago, it was only at 19%.
Oh, really?
It's really low.
Yeah.
So the Chinook fishing is not that good out there. It's really good for coho. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So we have access, and we need to be able to figure and release mortality,
Yep.
which is the thing.
Yep.
For coho, if we're going to be able to stay out there and go Chinook fishing.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or change our tactics.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to deep water fisheries. We're gonna fish on the bottom of the ocean if we have to,
Right.
along the beaches instead of 6 inches under the water, because coho are idiots and like to hang on the surface. They're just stupid.
It was actually.
I just love it.
It was hilarious because I got live scope on my boat now.
Yeah. You get to see it all.
I shit you not. We
I know.
we had 2 fish today swimming in my prop wash. I'm like, what are you doing down
All it is frustrating.
there? Yeah.
I have it, and I'm just like, you know what? That's going to piss me off. I don't want that on my boat anymore. I don't want to see everything that comes up and actually looks at my gear and goes the other way. That's going to
Drive you
piss
crazy.
me off.
Yeah. You'll be
Yeah.
pulling your hair out.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I can't handle that. I already got enough stress.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding.
That's awesome.
No kidding. So for our last 12-ish minutes here, we'll kind of dive into this. Let's say this upcoming week. We already kind of dove into a little bit what you are going to do going into the ocean.
Yeah.
If somebody was stuck in the river, be a smaller boat or not being comfortable crossing the bar or whatever.
Right.
What are some things that you would do to try to find success in here as these tides get smaller and softer? What are some areas that you would really consider? Some tactics that you would really consider using? Obviously 360s and some kind of something.
Hardware.
Yeah.
Hardware, gear,
Yeah.
rotating,
Yep.
spin fish,
Yeah.
super baits,
Yep.
spinners, whatever.
Yeah.
That's going to be a pretty big player. I'd like to think a colder ocean water might come in. You switch back to bait.
Okay. Yeah.
That could be a thing along the Ilwaco markers 157.
Mm-hmm.
I like to fish that. That's a suspended fishery. Set it and forget it. I love it.
I love those.
I know.
I
That's
love those.
Hammond.
Yep.
Hammond, tried and true.
Yep.
But some things to really look at on the softer tides, and this is going to be better and better,
Yeah.
is to get up into blind channel,
Mhm.
look at the last 2 hours of outgoing,
Mm-hmm.
target the bottom
Mm-hmm.
of the river,
Yep.
and control your boat, because that's going to be how this is going to be. You're going to be effective
Yeah.
in those areas. The same thing going down the sands.
Yep.
Going down the sands, Washington side,
Yep.
going down the sands on the Oregon side. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Coming through the ships on the soft tides on the outgoing,
Uh-huh.
that's a big deal,
Okay.
because as the tides get softer, you look at wanting to be up at Tongue Point,
Yeah. Yeah.
because Tongue Point doesn't fish on big tides.
Right.
It fishes on the smallest tides ever.
Yep.
Because it allows your gear to be in a certain position in that water up there, to be in the fish's face and let them actually do something with it.
Right.
Any other time of the tongue point fishery, it's inaccessible. You can go up there and try it. It won't work.
Yeah.
It will not. It has to be right at the last 2 hours or the first hour of incoming. They love that soft crap.
Right.
And it's all about the amount of pressure that these fish feel on them.
Yeah.
The pressure. That's how they react.
Right.
They're either going to feed or naturally instinct. We're looking for both of those, right?
Yeah.
And that's when they're going to be able to do it
Yeah.
because they're able to be free.
Right.
And do things.
Yeah.
They're able to do fish things.
Yeah.
Whereas before, they're just trying to maintain.
Yeah.
They're trying to conserve energy. They're trying to figure out why the hell they're being, pushed.
Yep.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a whole different aspect to this. And God, that goes back to it, Clayton. It's challenging.
Yeah.
God, I don't even know. There's 15 different places you can be.
Yep.
Which one you going to go to?
Yeah, yeah. I know myself personally. I'm a very predictable buoy 10 fisherman.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm a weekend guy. I go out here when my boat allows me to, when the weather allows my boat to.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I get it. I get it.
I tend to fish buoy 10 pretty regularly as a big circle. Right. So I really like launching at the East Basin.
Yep.
Because most of the time that wind kicks up from the west in the evening.
Oh, you can come home with it. It's
That's
great.
right. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Totally perfect. That's a softer ride home.
Yep. Usually, what I end up doing on an outgoing tide in the morning is I like to start up above the bridge on the Washington side.
Yep.
Chase those fish down.
Yep.
Once that incoming starts,
Good.
chase them back, and that's my day. Sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't.
Hey, but that's how you figured out.
Yep.
That's your program.
Yep.
Your challenge is to run this program.
Yep.
And then have a nice ride home.
Yep.
Some guys really make it difficult on themselves.
Right.
And they catch fish though. So it's worth them getting their asses kicked.
Yep.
They're going to go out there, got all these fish, and then they're going to get their asses hammered.
Yeah.
Trying to go against the every afternoon wind that you can bet money on happening.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
But they're going to do it.
Yep.
Because that's how they're going to catch fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And if they got a vessel that they can go get their butts kicked in and still be able to kind of walk at the end of the day,
Yeah.
they're okay.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah.
They're just doing it the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I got
Challenge.
a little 18-foot boat with a 115 on it, and
Yeah.
it does pretty good.
It does
but
good, dude. It gets you from point A to B,
Yep.
back, and safely.
Yep.
This is the fishery you do.
Yep.
And good ocean days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So
That's legit.
yeah, one thing that's really hard is it gets to be hard on your boat, and I can't imagine after spending as many days as you do down here, the wear and tear that you see on a boat.
Bro.
Yeah.
I fished 60 days. Just this.
Yeah.
And these are the hardest days on my vessel.
Yeah.
They break, they corrode wires.
Mhm.
They break things from the waves.
Yep.
They're the hardest on my fishing rods.
Yep.
They break seat. You name it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
We build things for this fishery,
Yep.
and then we use it everywhere else
Yep.
because it's okay.
That's right. That's right.
Seriously, that's what we do.
Yep.
But that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me say one more thing. NSIA, I'm on the board of directors. I love being a part of it. We have a Buoy 10 challenge coming up the day before Lipstick.
Oh, okay.
So it's like tournament.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. So
Yeah.
NSIA Buoy 10 challenge,
Gotcha.
Lipstick Girls Day. I
Yep.
love watching women become part of things.
Oh, yeah.
They're not just here to look cute and take pictures.
Yeah.
They actually like to fish.
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
I showed her everything, and she smiles
Yeah.
when she catches a fish.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me, that's the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I've had children, and I love my kids to death.
Yep.
I absolutely was happy when they were born.
Yeah.
But watching her smile, because she did it all on her own.
Yep.
She is just.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with
awesome.
you. I'm right there with you. You see, my wife and I, we've been together we're high school sweethearts since
nice.
I was a sophomore in high school.
Nice.
And she's been there with me when I was just kind of getting into fishing.
Yeah.
She's been there with me when I sucked at fishing. And she's grown and gotten better with me.
There
and
you
now
go.
she's a badass.
As I know.
You know.
They actually are good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think women excel in this type of thing, because they listen.
Yep.
And they're patient.
Yep.
Where we listen, but holy shit, I am not patient sometimes.
No.
And I am the first to admit it.
Yep.
I have a patience issue, like sometimes, but I know how to deal with it. But
Right.
still, they excel. And then, like, this isn't just some man's sport where men need to be out there providing.
Yeah.
This is everybody.
Yeah. Well, look at Brianna Bruce with Living Life Guide Service.
She's killing it up north.
I've never personally met her.
Her
but
Washington stuff is great.
I've heard she is a badass, and she's
badass.
she's a Talon rod gal.
Nice.
And,
That's cool. Yeah. Look at Lacey and Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Lacey and Kevin Newell.
Yep.
Rocio. They all have just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell them that they suck. I don't want them around here. I'm here to tell them kick ass and
Keep
take
rocking
names.
it. Yeah.
It's so
Keep
cool.
rocking it.
I love that part, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's coming up, those two tournaments.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are a handful of things that you will do at the end of this Buoy 10 ocean season to take care of your boat? Because that's a big investment.
Huge investment. Every year I rewire my vessel.
Okay. Yeah.
That's part of the deal.
Yeah.
Every 2 years I get rid of a kicker because I put hours on my kickers like nobody's business.
Yeah.
So I get a new kicker every 2 years. Every 3 or 4 years I repower with a main.
Yeah.
Because yet again, hours.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff that matters. And if you, by the way, if everybody out there thinks that a fishing guide is rich,
you're wrong.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
Name me one fishing guide that you know that is just living in the lap of luxury.
I don't.
There's not a single one.
Yep.
And we're all out here because we love what we do. And we'll continue to do it whatever it costs.
Yeah.
I don't make a bunch of money.
Right.
But I absolutely love what I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't have to go to work anymore.
Yeah.
But I love going to work.
Yeah.
And I ruin myself doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I ruin myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am this small guy. I have joint problems. I hurt.
Yeah.
I just love it.
I got to tell you, hats off to all you guys that are down here for 50 plus days and so on and so forth. Because I was down here for 2 days this weekend and
you're hurting.
I'm ready to go lay down. I'm ready to go lay down in bed. I'm gonna go get back in my air conditioned cab and
buddy.
drive truck and
another part though too, Clayton. Getting the people who don't have the opportunity to do this out on the water.
Yeah.
That's really what a fishing guide is. You know that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
A fishing guide isn't here to, like I said, get rich.
Yep.
A fishing guide isn't here to be a hero. We're not here to win over public opinion.
Yeah.
It's not a popularity thing. I mean, these people, they can go buy their fish at the store. They have a segment for that.
Yep.
That's a commercial product.
Yeah.
That has to happen.
Right.
We need a commercial fishery here. But getting everybody who wants to catch their own fish because we have it, that's special.
Yeah.
I want to be able to take them out there to show them that.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
the only reason I do it. I love it. I love what I do.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. It's worth all the effort. It's worth fighting all the political battles. It's worth making sure my kids have fish when they're older.
Yeah.
My kids as kids,
Yep.
I pray for them.
Yeah.
I just, it's worth the work.
Yep.
Got to keep going.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. Well, we're kind of winding this thing down here a little bit.
Nice.
Do you have Any sponsors you want to shout out? Any affiliates?
I mean, you know, I'm on the Yakubai Bait Fishing team.
Yep.
I really cherish my relationship with them, their
Yeah.
family. I'm a Willie Boat guy. I'm a co-owner of a fishing rod company, Raptor Rods.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
an actual thing.
Yeah.
We are a small segment. We do things differently.
Okay.
It's all about, you know, that special piece
Yep.
of fish catching
Yep.
equipment in your hand for me on Raptor. That's
Yeah.
why I became so involved with it, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's unique. It's special.
Yep.
Talon is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Edge is great. But our thing is just unique. We cater to the individual custom rod
Yeah.
clientele.
Yeah.
We just want you to be able to have that one-off piece.
Yep.
And that's what we do.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All the other stuff, I love Maxima Fishing Line.
Yeah.
Shimano reels.
Yep.
You name it.
Yep.
We have all the best equipment for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Well,
Yep.
I really appreciate you taking the time, sit down with me this
That's awesome,
afternoon,
dude.
this Sunday evening.
I do this no matter what, for whoever, whenever. I think it's great.
Yeah. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it. So,
I wish you the best.
Yeah. Thank you very
And we
much.
should talk more.
We should. Absolutely. Big shout out, Talon Rods, Fish Sauce, Anglers Unlimited, Cold Water Strong, North Wild. I appreciate all you guys. I appreciate all my listeners. Wouldn't be
yeah.
here without you guys.
That's cool.
If you're new here, please hit that like button, subscribe, share us out there with your friends. Leave a comment, somebody else you want to see on the show.
That's legit, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Check out Bill Monroe Outdoors. Why not?
Yeah, Bill Monroe Outdoors. So, alrighty, I bet
awesome.
you we're about out of time here. So,
Cool.
thank you very much. You guys have yourselves a great week. Tight lines.